I was awakened by a Snapchat of the vulva of my husband's mistress, and he got angry with me because pregnancy makes me crazy, so I am burning his life to the ground. I've been with my husband for 5 years, married for 1.5. I've never once doubted his fidelity. He's great. Super smart, funny, handsome, and, I thought, loyal. He's never given me a reason to doubt him or be suspicious. I thought it was odd that he downloaded Snapchat, but he's not big on social media. I have one, but I'm not very active. We rarely snap at each other. He said his friends were really active and he liked it better than Facebook. As I said, I've never had any reason not to trust him. So I thought nothing of it. This morning, my husband was in the shower and left his phone on my nightstand. I was half asleep when his phone started chirping and woke me up. We both have the same phone and ringtone for text messages. Not knowing that he had put his phone on my nightstand for whatever reason, I thought it was my phone in my half-asleep state. Despite his black phone case, I didn't notice, so I looked at who had texted. It said, "Mom." Okay, my mom texted me. I can ignore that until I'm awake. But under that was a Snapchat notification. A snap from someone named Roxy. I was like, who the F is Roxy and why is she Snapchatting me? I opened it, and bam, it's a picture of a pussy. And not the meowing kind with 4 legs and a tail. The caption said, "I want your tongue inside me again, now." I immediately thought it was a mistake. But I was alert now after being awoken by a vulva. I pretty quickly realized that this was my husband's phone. I felt like I was going to crap the bed and started to sweat. I looked at his contacts on Snapchat. She has a yellow heart next to her name. I looked up what that means. They are best friends. What the F? I feel like I'm going to be sick. I didn't do any other snooping because I knew what I'd find. I just don't understand how he could do this. We're happy. I thought we were happy. We have intimacy at least 4 times a week. Here's the real kicker, Reddit. I'm almost 12 weeks pregnant with our first child. He's sitting in the recliner about 20 feet from me, and I just can't find the words to confront him. How do I say what I need to say? There is no I am somehow overreacting or misreading this situation, is there? I'm heartbroken and don't know what to do. Update. So, the husband knows something is up. I don't know if he saw that I opened a Snapchat from Roxy and is afraid of what I saw and afraid to bring it up, or if he's clueless and can just tell I'm upset about something. He's been asking me if I'm okay or if something is wrong about every hour. I told him my sister was having a hard time today, and I was going to go over to her place for dinner and to spend the night with her. I'm here now. My sister is 20 and a whiz at the social media thing. She stalked his Facebook to see if this Roxy person appeared anywhere. She looked through his friends' friends. Bingo, we found her. Well, at least pretty sure. I didn't see her face on Snapchat. The screen was too full of her crotch. She's Facebook friends with my husband's good friend. She is listed as a receptionist at my husband's friend's law firm. My husband works a few blocks from the law firm and often stops by to grab lunch with his friend. That would explain how they met. Still formulating a plan for confrontation, trying to get as much information as possible first. My sister wants to burn his life to the ground, and honestly, I do too, but I'm going to address this in the most adult way possible so that I can walk away from him with my head held high and be a deserving role model to my baby girl. Good news? My uncle is a lawyer. Most of what he deals with are divorces. I've already contacted him and asked if we could discuss potential legal issues. I told him it was urgent. We are meeting tomorrow morning. Update. So, the husband cheated. He has been since maybe 2 weeks before last Christmas, according to him. I was very calm when confronting him and took the advice many of you gave me by telling him that he needs to explain who Roxy is and why she is his best friend on Snapchat. His face gave him away immediately, but he still tried to lie to me at first. He said that she works with his friend, and they met when his friend invited her out to lunch with the 2 of them. At first, he claimed he only met her about 2 months ago. He said they're best friends because he doesn't receive many Snapchats from others, and she is extremely active on the app. He said she just sends randoms and is really into fitness, so she sends a lot of inspirational snaps on being healthy and living a better life. He said that every once in a while, he'd send her something back, like a picture of a cheeseburger or something, just to tease her about her level of health consciousness. First, I asked why he didn't just tell me about her. He said he didn't even think about it because she's just an acquaintance, not a friend. Then I asked if he'd ever received anything even remotely inappropriate from her. He answered, not on purpose. I'm assuming he went with that because he knew I opened that Snapchat and probably knew it was bad. I asked what not on purpose means. He got very defensive. Started raising his voice and saying he didn't need to explain what that meant, that sometimes people accidentally send the wrong Snapchats to the wrong people. Then he had the nerve to say something along the lines of, I feel like I'm on trial here. People warned me that you get crazy when you're pregnant, but I never thought it'd be this bad. Now, as some of you mentioned in my last post, it seems amazing that I can keep such a level head. That is because I was raised by a mother who always told me that I never accomplish anything with anger. You can be emotional, passionate, upset, etc., without raising your voice. Messages received quietly and concisely are just as loud and clear as messages received through yelling and screaming. That is how I have lived for 26 years, except for just a few blow-ups. This moment was an exception. I didn't exactly yell and scream, but I became furious. For him to try to blame this on me being pregnant? How unoriginal and offensive. Long story short, he said he'd never seen me this crazy, and I told him that I'd never seen a picture of another girl's pussy on my husband's Snapchat before. He replied that I shouldn't have looked at his Snapchat. I came back with the fact that it was an accident, but even if it hadn't been, there shouldn't be any reason he's receiving Snapchats like that for me to see accidentally or not in the first place. I told him that I might be pregnant, but I'm also an intelligent person, and I am his wife, so I knew he was lying, and I deserved to know the truth. I asked if I could see his text messages to see if he'd been texting Roxy. He said sure. No messages. Then I asked to see his Facebook messages. He looked like a kid caught with his hand in the cookie jar. He told me no. I asked why. He finally broke and started to cry. Told me he couldn't let me see the messages because they would hurt me. Because they were inappropriate. Then it all came out. They screwed in the backseat of her car the first night they met. This is already long, so I'll spare you all the details. But it's been an ongoing affair for months. No, they did not always use protection. Although I was recently screened for STIs, I'll be getting checked again in light of this information. My uncle already assured me that if he was unfaithful, we would cream him in court. The only thing I'm willing to fight tooth and nail for is our home. I put a lot of effort and money into making this home my dream space. I won't be seeking spousal support, but I will seek child support. I was obviously heartbroken and told him to stay in a hotel or with Roxy for all I cared. My mom and sister stayed with me last night and let me sob all over them for hours. There were suggestions that I terminate my pregnancy. I fully support the right to choose, and I would probably terminate the pregnancy if I was in a different financial position and lacked a support system. However, I work as a marketing manager for a large company. Not only does this allow me to work from home about 50% of the time, but it also grants me financial independence. I do not rely on my husband for money, and I never have. He works in tech, so I will not need spousal support while he makes a good salary. I have a phenomenal support system. This baby will be loved so dearly by so many. Yes, I will have to deal with my husband for the rest of my life if I have this child, and it will make future relationships for me more difficult, but it is worth it. I've wanted this baby since day one, and I am her mother, which means I am strong enough to raise her alone because I have to be strong enough. Here's to hoping for a speedy divorce. I'm ready to be done with this marriage. This is crazy because just a few days ago I thought my life was as close to perfect as you could get. Update: my dad and I were up late talking last night, and, as usual, he had the perfect thing to say to me. He told me that weak people are afraid of strong people. He told me to keep on terrifying the weak ones. That way, the only people who won't fear you are the bravest, strongest people and those who are worthy of you. Then he said my husband is a spineless turd who couldn't kick it with the strongest woman in the world. Just thought I'd leave you with that and encourage everyone to be terrifying by being strong and not standing for nonsense. This is the last I will post on the matter. I have a lot ahead of me with everything and will probably go quiet on Reddit for a while. Time to get ready for court and to be terrifying. Smile.